I'm going to give you my honest review of Pittsburgh Steelers Stadium as a Ravens fan, and I promise to put my bias aside. We're on our way to Pittsburgh. We're about maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours out. This is my second time going to Pittsburgh, but this is her first time going. And we're going into enemy territory. We're going to show you guys what it's like to be a Ravens fan in Pittsburgh for a Ravens-Steelers game.
How you feeling?
I feel like they're gonna win by 20, but if they lose, I'm also scared. So I'm scared to leave if they win because I'm scared to see how they react, and I'm scared to leave the stadium if they lose because it's a lose-lose situation for us. So hopefully nobody gets on us too bad, but they've been nice so far, so we'll see. Challenging everybody to say one nice thing about the Ravens as a Pittsburgh fan.
So you're challenging me to say one nice thing about the
Nice
Ravens.
thing. One.
My grandmother's favorite color was purple.
Okay. What about you?
Lamar Jackson is a good talent.
Oh wow, that's the first time I heard that. I never thought I heard
he's
that.
a great talent. I mean, he'll never win.
Here we go. You have to say one nice thing about the Ravens. What? Just one.
Ray Lewis is a cool dude.
Final score prediction is going to be 30-17. Me and Sarah agreed on the final score. I think they win by 14 plus. I think there's going to be a lot of people mad when we leave today. It is so bland. The fries have no seasoning, you can see, and the bacon is not cooked right. It needs to be crispy. Five out of 10. It's not good. Huh? And then the chicken. Now that's good. For a chicken tender at a stadium, 8 out of 10. We just got back to the car. I didn't really want to make a video while we were walking out because people were yelling at us and stuff, but I'm gonna give a rating when I get back home. So back in my office, I'll give a final rating. A lot of fun either way. I still can't. Pittsburgh won without scoring a touchdown. They own us in that aspect. So I'm gonna give a rating when I get back home. So I'll see you guys there. All right, we're back home. Just got home this morning. Probably got back like 20 or 30 minutes ago. So pretty tired, and now I'm back to work. But really cool experience in Pittsburgh. As you saw, everything that we did. We went to Tequila Cowboy. We did some interviews with some fans. We tried to go to some tailgates, but I'll get into that in a second. And the stadium was nice. So now we have to do a ranking of Pittsburgh Steelers Stadium. So first is the food that I want to talk about in the stadium specifically, not outside of the stadium. Outside the stadium and in the city, the food was pretty good. Not the best I've ever had, but inside the stadium itself, I would say the food was just okay, maybe at best. There wasn't many options. All you really had options for was chicken tenders, fries, pizza, hot dogs, all the regular stuff, which is completely fine. But in other stadiums, they always have something unique, like maybe a buffalo chicken sandwich, maybe a crab cake sandwich, like in Baltimore. There was nothing unique about Pittsburgh Steelers Stadium. And the fries, like the bacon cheese fries that you guys saw and I gave a bad rating to, one of the worst fries I've ever had in my life. They were not seasoned. It was really bad. The chicken tenders were just okay. They were good for a stadium, pretty good. But other than that, nothing to write home about. So the food to us is definitely on the bottom of the list. If we were ranking food by stadiums, probably one of the worst that I've had at a stadium, unfortunately. But that's okay. It's not going to bring the score down too much. Food is not the main thing in this review. Now let's talk about prior to the game, the tailgates and everything we did before the game. So I will say the tailgates looked fun, but you cannot go to any tailgate unless you pay for it specifically. So, and it also feels like there is so many parking lots throughout the entire city, you don't know where to go. There's not like a main parking lot like Baltimore has, Jacksonville, Washington. Like there is just nowhere specifically to go for people that maybe have not been there before. Unless you're paying or unless you have a bunch of friends, you really can't go anywhere, which I didn't really like the atmosphere of that. The tailgates did look fun. I'm sure whoever goes to Pittsburgh games all the time, it was probably really fun for you guys. But for us, we either have to pay or have to know somebody. I just don't like that aspect. When you go to a game, you would like to see at least one tailgate that everybody can just flock to, or at least one parking lot. And the parking lots are so far from the stadium, so it's a walk. And even if you tailgated outside of the stadium, sometimes it's like half mile to a mile walk, which I personally didn't like. I wish there was something closer to the stadium. But what I will say is I love Tequila Cowboy. I went there last time that I went to Pittsburgh, had a great time then, had a great time now. It was absolutely packed. But the bartenders were awesome. The service was awesome. It was super fast for how busy that they are. They are prepared for these Pittsburgh Steelers games every single week because we got our food within 10 minutes. We got a beer within 15 minutes of us just getting there. And then once we sat at the bar, we were getting beer whenever we wanted. So they were very great. I love Tequila Cowboy. If you ever go to Pittsburgh, I highly recommend it. But the tailgates themselves, another lower score compared to the other stadiums if we were ranking it compared to that. Now, the stadium itself is beautiful. I love the concourse. I think it's one of the most beautiful stadiums in the NFL. You can see the water right next to the stadium with the bridge in the background. It's absolutely gorgeous. And anywhere in the stadium that you sit, you get a great view, like an awesome view. There's only really 2 levels. There's also a club level, but in other stadiums that I think maybe bigger, Steelers is maybe a little bit smaller. I'm not 100% sure on the numbers. It looks like that, but it's more caved in, so it's easier for people to see the field. So even if you sit all the way at the top, you are still getting a good view of the game. And this score would be high. This one is my favorite looking stadium in the NFL that I've been to so far. I think I've been to maybe 6 or 7 stadiums. We'll get to the rankings in a second, but definitely one of the most beautiful stadiums that I've been to. Now, the fans to me were iffy. Now, granted, I'm a Ravens fan, so that is guaranteed to probably happen. But last time that I came, it wasn't as bad as it was this time. I understand the trash talk. Some people were really nice, but when we got to our seats, people were really, really rude. I mean, to the point where people were screaming at us. They were flipping us off, you know, telling us to go home. Like at some point, like I understand the banter and I'm completely fine with that, but we didn't do anything to get these people riled up or to get them mad. But they were pretty mean to us. And then when we got into the parking lot to go home, we had plenty of people flipping us off. I just did not like the vibe of that. It's not like we were in anybody's face or talking crap. Obviously, we lost. I understand that you're happy that your team won, but at least show some respect. Like, I get it if you want to talk trash, but the flipping off, telling us to go home, blah, 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 I'm just not a huge fan of that. And that happens at other stadiums too. This one isn't the worst experience that we've had with fans. That one goes to the Giants. But it wasn't a great experience, at least for us. And also the fans weren't really that loud. And you might think that I'm being biased, but honestly, it was one of the most quietest stadiums that I've been to. Jacksonville was louder on a Sunday night football game, and Tampa was much louder on a Monday night football game. Ravens Stadium is always louder than that. At least in my opinion, it was not a primetime game, but at the same time, we're at Ravens versus Steelers. And Renegade, last time that I went, was great, but this time it was very, very quiet and underwhelming. And the graphics on the scoreboard is old. They're all old. The speakers on the stadium were louder than the fans, and the speakers are very old. It kind of reminds me of Camden Yards with how bad their speakers are. I mean, trying to listen to music, trying to hear the PA announcer, it was awful. And to me, I just don't think the fans really gave an all-out effort like I was expecting. I was expecting not to be able to hear the person next to me. That was not the case. Renegade's cool, but it wasn't as hype as what you see on TV to me, and I was a little bit underwhelmed. And also, barely anybody was standing up. I mean, they would stand up on third downs. Even at the beginning of the game, everybody was sitting when the Steelers were on defense. I personally, when I go to other stadiums like Jacksonville, like I said, Baltimore, any of these other stadiums, people are very loud and standing up for a majority of the game. I didn't get that. It was relaxing to be able to sit, but I just didn't think the fans brought everything that at least I see on TV or in a primetime game. So with all of that being said, I am giving Pittsburgh Steelers Stadium a solid 7 out of 10. There was some good and there was some bad. Definitely not the worst I've ever been to, but definitely not the best that I've ever been to. This puts Pittsburgh in the 3rd spot, which is a pretty good spot. So a decent score. Right now, my list includes Tampa Bay at number 1 still. They were awesome a couple weeks ago. Ravens at number 2, Steelers at 3, Jacksonville at 4, Commanders at 5, and Giants at 6. I wish I could do a video for that, but that was a couple years ago. So that's just a rating based off of me. I did not make a video for that, so you won't know the reason. But if you ever ask, maybe I'll tell you guys a story about that. But Steelers at number 3. We had a good time. It was fun. There were some good people, some bad people. It is what it is. And I appreciate you guys watching. Just remember to hit that subscribe button to support me. And hopefully we can do another stadium review this year. I don't know if it's going to happen. We've traveled to Tampa this year. We traveled to Pittsburgh. And also it's just very, very expensive. So unless I get a sponsor or something comes up, it's probably not going to happen. But maybe in the playoffs, we'll see. But I'm going to do more vlogs like this. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. I appreciate you guys and hope you have a great rest of your week.